The establishment of this online casino doesn't appear in the PC platform. It didn't appear in either of the throne speeches, nor any of the budgets that have been presented by this government. We never discussed it in this House, and as far as I'm aware, not a single member of government ever said a single word about it. But despite that, on December the 22nd of last year, Cabinet passed an order to move ahead with it. To the Premier, who did you consult with before making this decision behind closed doors 3 days before Christmas?
Honourable Premier.
Well, Mr. Speaker, as I have suggested, that the idea here is similar to what we have done with other, I guess, which is commonly referred to as sin taxes, whether it's smoking, whether it's cannabis, whether it's alcohol, Mr. Speaker. That government, goes down this road simply because we have to find a way to try to do this if it has to take place in a regulated environment. I think we all would agree that there are still bootleggers in Prince Edward Island, Mr. Speaker. I would prefer, if you were partaking in the purchase of liquor, that you do it through a regulated environment, because it gives us a better opportunity to identify those who might have challenges, Mr. Speaker, for example. And it's the same thing with gaming, Mr. Speaker. If you look, if anyone watches sports, for example, every commercial on TV, every advertising on the rink boards is for Poker Stars, it's for DraftKings, Mr. Speaker, and these seem all very legitimate businesses, Mr. Speaker, but they're unregulated. All the proceeds go offshore, Mr. Speaker, and I think what Atlantic Lottery has asked us to do is to try to find a way to take this into a more regulated environment if it needs to be undertaken.
The Honourable Leader of the Official Opposition.
My question was, who did you consult with? And the only group I heard in that answer was bootleggers. So maybe you consulted with bootleggers, I don't know, but you sure didn't consult with the people you needed to. This is what I have been told is often called misery money. You described it as sin taxes, but it's misery money. This is taking money out of the pockets of the most vulnerable. And we know that nobody from the Mental Health Department of Health PEI was approached, which is astonishing, given the negative impact that we know gambling has on vulnerable islanders. We know that gambling leads to hundreds of Canadians taking their lives, and that statistically, 2 of those Canadians every year is an islander. And yet you didn't even speak to your own experts in government in this field. To the Premier, is this an appropriate process to follow for such an important and a potentially deadly decision?
The Honourable Premier.
Well, Mr. Speaker, online gambling is taking place every single day, Mr. Speaker, and it's been taking place for years. So we haven't come out and tried to invent online gaming as a way to take more money from people's pockets, Mr. Speaker. Atlantic Lottery, as the gaming regulatory body in Atlantic Canada, Mr. Speaker, is saying, could we offer a different opportunity here so that if Islanders or Atlantic Canadians choose to do online gaming, which I'm sure many of them have been doing, Mr. Speaker, and continue to do to this day, that they do so through a regulated environment. That gives us the opportunity to get tax dollars, Mr. Speaker, to offer more help if need be to those who need it, Mr. Speaker, and to have a regulated process, Mr. Speaker. I would prefer Islanders did not do this, Mr. Speaker, but I can't live in a bubble and pretend that they're not doing it already, Mr. Speaker. I would prefer, if they choose to do it, they do it through a regulated environment, Mr. Speaker. That's the safest way to do it. It's the same approach we take with tobacco sales, with cannabis sales, with alcohol sales, Mr. Speaker, and we have to do the best we can to make sure that regulated environment provides these services that are needed if and when they are needed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Leader of the Official Opposition.